This is a 2007 Honda CR-V front sway bar link replacement video. This fix should work on the 2007 to 2011 Honda CR-V. This is the bottom end of the sway bar link on the driver's side. I find it useful to break the nut loose right here with a long breaker bar before jacking the car up. And I've already broken this one loose, but you can break it and then put a vice grip on it to keep it from spinning. Like this, there's the breaker bar placed right, the vice grip placed right there. And then you'll just thread that most of the way off, and then maybe thread it back on before jacking the vehicle up, but just to know that you have that good and loose, because it gets trickier to get that off once the car's jacked. Chock both rear wheels and set the parking brake before jacking the car and placing it on stands. Break all these nuts in a crisscross pattern. Off, I'm supported on a jack stand, and I prefer to use more force than necessary on this kind of stuff, so I have a big wrench, and then I have this vice grip clamped to it to keep the backside from spinning. I'm gonna loosen this up. So I got that nut off. I'm gonna take the top one off. I'm gonna thread this the rest of the way out, because we already broke it while the car was resting on the ground. You can run into trouble if you try to jack it up before breaking that, and because there's not a lot of room up here. New sway bar link in place, and I'm going to finger tighten it, the bolt at the bottom end and the top end. Just torque that top one to 58 foot-pounds. I kind of wrench tightened the bottom one, and I'm going to torque it once the car is back on the ground. And then I'll show that, and then the other side is the same thing as this side. One more thing on this other side, torquing this top bolt. I ran into trouble with the wrench jamming up against the top, so that when I had it torqued I couldn't get it out. What I've done here is I've torqued it, and now I'm going to knock the block out, and that'll let me get the wrench off. Now we are back down on our tires, and we just have to torque that bolt, that nut right there. It's lifted off of this bar right here, which makes it a lot easier to torque than if you tried to do it while the car was still on jack stands. So I'll be torquing that, and then the job's done after I retorque the tires. So in closing, I wanted to demonstrate this worn stabilizer link that I've replaced. As you can see here, the grease seal has failed. There's only a nominal amount of grease left in there. Also, it will click in this dimension when back and forth force is applied, and that was making a noise that let me know that these were worn. The ones that I replaced it with are Moog brand, which does not sponsor this video, but that approximately right here has a place that can be gripped with a wrench. That makes these easier to replace than just being required to use this this hex nut like many of the replacement options out there. For comparison, the other end is intact. It's much more rigid. It doesn't click when I rock it back and forth, and the grease seal is intact. One other caveat, all throughout the video I've said vice grip, and all I was really using is a generic brand locking plier, which got the job done. And that's replacement of a 07 to 2011 Honda CR-V front stabilizer link.